AITA for telling my brother the truth on why I don't ask him for anything. I am not the OOP. OOP is U71's posting on AITA and their profile. Trigger warnings. Gaslighting. Less than. Mood spoilers. Unresolved pending OOP's family responses. But SIL's behavior is clearly suspect. Less than. Original post. Deleted from AITA. Moved to user profile. December 30th, 2022. I, 19F. Have 3 brothers. 27, 28 and 32. My oldest brother, Dave, got married to Sarah in May. I study halfway across the world from my hometown where my family are. I got really sick a few months ago and rushed to the nearest hospital. Turns out they don't accept my insurance and I had to pay out of pocket. I was €50 short and called everyone I could, but no one was picking up. I then called my oldest brother, Dave, because he always picks up, and asked him to send me €50 and I would send it back once I get paid in a few days. He told me not to be ridiculous and he didn't need me to pay him back €50. Sarah called me that night and asked how I was doing. After the chit-chat, she asked if I could ask someone else the next time I need money because my brother is a married man. I was shocked, but I apologized and said I offered to pay him back. She said it's fine, but next time I should plan my finances in advance so I won't have to rely on a married man. It's my birthday soon and Dave called to ask what I wanted. I said nothing and that I was fine, but I appreciated him asking. My other brother called to ask what I want and I said I wanted some money to heat my apartment. I couldn't afford to heat it this month. He was baffled that I was so broke I couldn't afford heating and I wasn't saying anything. He started tearing up on the phone call with me and ended the call and sent me $500 later. I guess he told Dave about the call with me because Dave called me and started interrogating me on why I just told him I didn't need anything, and then asked my youngest brother. He sounded offended and asked why I feel like I can't rely on him. I asked, "Haven't you spoken to Sarah about this?" He was confused on what I meant and I told him about the conversation I had with Sarah after he sent me the €50 for the hospital. He said he'd call me back, but he hasn't. A cousin of mine sent me a message a few hours ago saying I was a bitch for meddling in their marriage, and that Dave didn't owe me anything. I was like, when did I say Dave owed me anything? I have never relied on him for anything. Nor do I plan on it. I mean, I feel bad that Dave and Sarah are fighting it. I can't help but feel weirded out that Sarah did that behind his back and he had no clue. I've been extremely anxious and I can't stop shaking. AITA? Update. In user profile. January 1st, 2023. Again. I hope this reaches some of you lol. So my middle brother called me yesterday and asked me to explain what's been going on and I did. He's always had quite the temper and got very angry about the Sarah situation. He mentioned how Dave is paying the rent for Sarah's 22-year-old brother's apartment. So for Sarah to ask me not to ask Dave for anything at all was so messed up when her own brother is getting his rent paid every single month by Dave. TBH, this made me mad. It's okay for Dave to support her brother, but God forbid he sends me €50 for an emergency, right? Anyway, Dave called me and we had a heart-to-heart conversation. I explained to him what I've been going through here and he was silent for a while. I did mention that if I was in urgent need of something, I still had my other 2 brothers to ask, so it really wasn't that terrible. He said he feels so guilty that I was suffering and he didn't know. He said he won't tell me the details about his discussion with his wife, but he was heartbroken that she would even think of telling me not to rely on him, and has asked her to give me an apology, which she said she did. But at the time of the call I hadn't received anything. I said I haven't gotten an apology from her and he told me to check my messages again. Still nothing. He was silent for a while and just sighed. I also mentioned the text my cousin sent, which he asked me to forward to him. He said he felt so bad that people so much older than me were treating me like this, and he will deal with so it never happens again. That was this morning. I got a message from Sarah 10 minutes ago. Not sure how that's meant to be an apology, but to summarize. She said, "I'm sorry if you took what I said as you can't ever rely on your brother. He's your brother, and I would never intentionally try to make you feel like he couldn't do anything for you. I'm also hurt that you couldn't speak to me if you had a problem with it. We could have solved this as sisters. Now WTF am I meant to say to that? I know she'll make time the villain if I don't respond, but honestly, what on earth is that? Reminder, I am not OOP. Mark, ongoing sounds like SIL's shenanigans will continue to develop, and OOP might keep us updated." Sarah telling her she shouldn't rely on a married man creeped me out so much. There is further response for OOP. She sent the wife's apology to her brother too. Said this in another comment, but I'll copy-paste it here. "Thank you so much. I sent him a screenshot of her apology and sent a voice note explaining that I felt like she was trying to gaslight me into thinking she didn't say I can't rely on him, and that I must have understood it wrong. I also sent him a screenshot from the day that call happened in August of me telling my best friend what Sarah had said, just to show him I'm not changing up the story. He said to not respond to her and apologized 1,000 times over again for her behavior. I also noticed that she took me off her Instagram. Tears of joy. All I can do is laugh at this point. He was paying his bills, rent. WTAF. GTFO with that mess. Tell me they don't have kids. We could have solved this as sisters. Don't respond. Don't talk to her at all." Classic non-apology that turns blame back on the victim. "I'm sorry if you took what I said as. That's not an apology. That's shifting the blame." Edit. Update. Looks like she sent the brother the screenshot. He was silent for a while and just sighed. I could feel this sigh. Me thinks poor Dave has probably done this a lot in his short marriage. I remember this post and I was so shocked on the audacity of Sarah. And I missed the update. I hope OOP updates soon, because this Sarah is hella sus. Yep. Dave did not get himself a keeper. Now WTF am I meant to say to that? Something mean-spirited and sarcastic about her brother and his free ride rent would be my immediate inclination, but I'm not exactly a suitable role model in these situations. Nice deflection by the sister-in-law. I hope Dave isn't fooled. Add Dave to the response. Quote Sarah's response and say, "I appreciate you attempting to clear the air with me. I'm glad you view us as sisters. Going forward, I hope we can just keep Dave on our messages so that we can continue to have open and honest conversations among the three of us. I wish you a lovely week ahead." She would look pretty shady for wanting to continue to communicate to you behind Dave's back, especially when she's jacked this up royally so far. It'll also give Dave the opportunity to see her non-apology and gaslighting. I seriously hope he will stop paying for her brother's rent. Why is he paying for her brother's rent? Let her pay for her own brother's rent. I get that he can help if he can afford. But his sister had an emergency situation. Her SIL is just unbelievable. €50. Not hundreds every month for rent. In this case, I honestly hope he will divorce her. Most likely they can't simply annul the marriage. Which is sad. Oh geez. Sarah's a nightmare. I can understand why OOP feels like she can't ask her brothers, especially Dave, for anything anymore. But this is 100% not finished yet. And I fear OOP's going to get a very different message from Sarah when the dust settles on the divorce papers I foresee in the future. If I was Dave, this would be immediate grounds for a divorce. Or at least intensive couples counseling. I'm sorry if you took what I said as you can't ever rely on your brother. He's your brother and I would never intentionally try to make you feel like he couldn't do anything for you. I'm also hurt that you couldn't speak to me if you had a problem with it. We could have solved this as sisters. Wow. She didn't even apologize and then passed the blame. Like WTF? I have received your message and noted contents. An apology with reservations is a further affront to hell with her. Okay, who wants to take bets on how long that marriage will last? And who is this cousin? They need to be put in check too. Sil is insufferable and salty that her scheming came back to bite her in the ass. Honestly super proud of Oops Brothers for having her back though. If I was Dave I'd start taking Sarah's words more literally because by her logic, her brother shouldn't be relying on a married man either. Oops should respond, "That's not how an apology works, would you like to try again?" WTF does Dave being a married man have to do with anything?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.